It was in the 2000s when I identified with the mythological character of Oisin, and adopted that name into my being. So the tale of Oisin or Oisin, the Old Irish pronounced Oisin, was the son of Fionn McGowan and Sub, the daughter of Bodurg. He was regarded in legend as the greatest poet of Ireland, as well as a warrior of the Fianna in the Oceanic, the Oceanic or Fenian cycle of the Irish mythology. He was boldly known as the narrator of much of the cycle. Oisin means young deer or fawn. It was partly because of his mother's tale. The druid Fiodorch was madly in love with Oisin's mother, Sad, and when she turned down his advances in spite, he turned her into a deer. While out on a hunt, the great hunter Fionn spied the lovely deer in the woods. When he captured her, she turned back to human form. Madly in love with his prize, he retired from hunting and proposed to her. They settled down for a life happily ever after and became pregnant with a son. When Fiodorch discovered this, he turned her back into a deer, and she ran off into the woods, never to be seen again. 7 years later, Fionn found the child lying naked on the Ben Bulben. He was ecstatic with joy. He raised his son Oisin to become a great poet, hunter, and warrior. The story of Oisin's life is very well captured in the Oisin in Turnanog adventure tale. It is within this fable that we are told that the fairy woman Niam Kianura, Niev of the golden hair or head, came to visit Oisin. Niev was one of the Manannán mac Líor's daughters. Manannán was the Irish god of the sea. Niev announced to Oisin that she was his true love and soulmate, and he must come with her to Turnanog, the land of the young, or the land of the promise. There, Niev and Oisin gave birth to a son and a daughter. Oisin's son is Oscar, and the daughter was Piona. Maban, the flower of women. They were all quite happy. However, after what seemed like 3 years in fairyland, Oisin grew wary to see his family in Ireland and persistently requested Niev's permission to return for a visit. Little did Oisin know that those 3 years in fairy were actually, in actuality, almost 300 years in human years that had passed. So Niev gave him Embar, her white fairy steed, with specific instructions that he shall not dismount for any reason, for if his feet touched the ground, those 300 years would immediately turn him into an ancient, withered old man. Oisin returns to find his home on the hill of Almu, abandoned and in disrepair. As he tried to find his father, he encounters some men trying to lift a great stone onto their wagon. As he tries to help, his girth breaks and he falls to the ground, becoming an old blind man, just as Niev warned. Embar returns back to Turnanog without him. Oisin is then left to wander the countryside of the human realms as a wise old blind man. He teams up with the Calte Mac Ronan and takes on the bardic path, sharing folklore, fairy tales, and stories of Ifiana. He becomes the epitome of the term wanderlust. He is also rumored to be the staunch advocate of the pagan faiths. He becomes quite bothered by the fact all his comrades, families, and friends are gone, as is the pagan faiths in Ireland. According to William Butler Yeats' poem, The Wanderings of Oisin, Oisin encounters the Irish Catholic St. Patrick, who was responsible for destroying the pagan faiths of Ireland, or some say. While Oisin tries to teach St. Patrick about the glories of ancient Ireland and the land of the fairy. Further mythology tells of Niev coming to the shores of Ireland in search of her long-lost love to find him and bring him back to Fairy. Story has it, she does not even find him, and Oisin dies of old age. Oisin's grave is believed to be located close to the foot of a glenun in the glens of Antrim in Northern Ireland. Yeats, James Macpherson, Goethe, and Walter Scott all wrote about Oisin and were obsessed with translating his poems. Books have been written about him, films have been made about his story. And you can find many of these stories just by Googling Oisin and Leif, the use of Oisin, the wanderings of Oisin and Patrick.